everyone. Welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm a husband, Glenn.
Yep, that's who he is.
And we're here to review Married at First Sight Australia. The first time in the United States that Married at First Sight Australia is going to be on. So it's 7th season overall, but Married at First Sight Australia, we're going to review this. But before we go there, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure you check out our couple cam review as well. Married at First Sight Australia. Make sure you check out our podcast. The link is in the description. So let's get started. Married at First Sight Australia. What we did notice from there, that Married at First Sight Australia, a little bit different from the Married at First Sights that we've been used to watching. We saw a whole bunch of people together at their parties. A whole bunch of people together. The guys were called the Bucks, and I can't remember what the females were called, but they were together. So we're imagining they're going to be like 10 couples, 10 pairs at this. And so this was interesting because there's a lot of people. So what we saw the experts sitting at the table. They pick, okay, we like this person, and okay, let's pick this person, and then we get to meet the people.
Yes.
And so we get to meet. So the first couple that we saw was Luke and Poppy. Well, let me go back real quick. At the dinner, per se, with the mingle or the mixer, we realized that one of the females was gay. She comes out. And she comes out to that she's a lesbian, and she's like, I wonder if one of you guys is gonna be my wife. Now this is the first gay couple on Married at First Sight. In Australia, they have legalized gay marriage, and so this is the first time that we'll see this on Married at First Sight. So Tasha comes out, but we'll get there in a little bit. So we get introduced to Poppy. Poppy is also the first that we've seen on Married at First Sight because Poppy has kids.
Yeah.
And that I can't remember. I have not met any of the Married at First Sights that the people that got married actually had kids.
Right.
That I can remember. Or been married before. So this time, Poppy has been married before. Poppy also has kids. Now she has two twin boys. Little kids. Toddlers. Two twin boys. Two twin boys where after 6 weeks, her husband left her.
Yeah.
With the twin boys.
Yeah.
And so Poppy has been through a lot. And we saw this in this episode, all the emotion and things that Poppy has been through. And the way she's matched up. Pretty young lady. Very spunky, very energetic, very confident about herself. Considering her situation. They match her with a young man, 38-year-old man.
Well, they're both the same age.
They're the same age.
They're young. They're not probably what we're used to necessarily seeing on Married at First Sight. We do have some older people, but
last season of Married at First Sight DC, most people were 25, 26, 24, 20, they were young.
31.
Right.
Austin and Jessica were 31. Yeah.
And see how that worked out. The older couples tend to work out more than you. Well, anyway, that's a whole different. But no, Luke has kids as well, but he has teenagers. He has two girls, 15-year-old and an 18-year-old. And Poppy has two boys. So their family will eventually get to mix. So I thought that was interesting with Australia that you have kids and you have people who've been married before and divorced, all that thrown into Married at First Sight. So this is not their first rodeo, first go around as we see in America, because in America this is their first time ever being married. First time, so Poppy has been down the aisle before, Luke has been there. So we get to see how these two people who've been married interact with people who already, and they already have kids. So we go there, they get into a wedding, they both tell their family that they're getting married, and both families were very supportive. One of Poppy's friends was like, she was concerned about the kids. What are you going to do about the kids?
Right.
You never left the kids, and you got these kids, you're a great mom, each part of your life. And her concern was the kids. And Poppy said she'll be fine.
Yes. And so we come to the wedding time. And Luke's a fun-loving guy. He looks pretty jovial. He comes out in a really good mood. And initially, Poppy comes out. She's got, a nice dress on. And she's ready to meet Luke and excited in the moment. They kind of hit it off. Their personalities click. Yeah. And the wedding goes fine. They exchange vows. Really nice vows. Really cute. But when the vows are over, and it's like almost as soon as they walk down the aisle and hit that last step on the aisle, Poppy starts thinking, oh snap, my babies. I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could do this.
She got overwhelmed, and then she got stone faced. She got cold.
Oh my gosh.
And
poor Luke.
Take my hat off to Luke. This nice gentleman, fun looking guy, fun loving guy. He's trying everything he can to be upbeat and to be nice. He said, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be negative. He wanted to be supportive. He wants to be there for her. Didn't want to get off on the wrong foot. He's trying to do everything, even at the reception. She's like,
well, before that, when they were taking the pictures, you know, she's the photographer's trying to get them into the pictures, and they'd already talked about the kids. She's got the twins, and he's got the teenagers, and, you know, she's stressing about that. And he was like, it's going to be okay. She says, not. He tried to encourage her and lift up. You know, it's fine. You know, let's take the pictures. You know, she wasn't into the pictures, and she straight was like, no,
Yeah, she wasn't feeling it at all because all her mind was on her kids, and I can understand. I can relate. You're married and a stranger. You don't know how he's gonna react to kids. Even though it eased her mind a little bit that he has kids, but he has teenagers. You've been married before. You've been hurt, and now you have to marry this guy and leave your kids, which you have never left him before.
Yeah.
And so now all this is coming together, and she got overwhelmed.
She did.
And she did. She got overwhelmed until this is why you gotta have good friends. Gotta have great friends. Her friends came to the day. They came and rescued her, snapped her back into shape, got her back together, and told her, look, hey, this is what you want. The kid's gonna be fine. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't make a mistake by turning this guy off on day one.
Yeah.
Don't make that mistake. Relax a little bit and enjoy the moment, enjoy the time.
Yeah.
And so she relaxed a little bit, and she started opening up, and they started actually having conversation and laughing and joking with each other.
Yeah.
And Luke was actually saw another side of Poppy. And mind you, Poppy got stressed out. Was still stressed out. So much stressed out that her face broke out.
Oh, poor thing. Poor thing.
She already had a pimple problem.
No, she didn't.
She said she had a big pimple that she thought was going to follow her down the aisle. That it would see her. So she already had a pimple. But with all the stress, she got some kind of rash, hay fever, herpes simplex 3 or something that came up.
What? Yeah, it definitely showed on her face. Poor thing. But I think they did okay winding down, coming to the wedding night.
Yeah.
They were in a much better place, and like we said, Luke kept it upbeat. And after Poppy's friends talked to her during the reception, from the reception on, I think they were pretty smooth sailing. I'm interested to see what's going to go on with them. They're two older people.
Yeah.
They got ready-made family, and I think it'd be good to see how they mesh together.
And they even joked about which side of the bed to sleep on.
That was not a joke. They both sleep on the same side.
Yeah.
No, I told you I sleep on the right side. They should have specified when you're standing at the foot of the bed and looking at the bed, I sleep on the right side or left side, because one was like picturing facing the bed, the other one was thinking in the bed, which it ended up being the same side.
And it seemed like Poppy won.
I don't know.
No, Luke won because Luke was on the right side
Luke
of the bed.
sat on the bed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luke sat on the bed.
Now we don't know what she did. When they laid down, she was on the other side.
Yeah.
She was on the other side.
Luke won.
Well, I don't know. It's not a competition.
It's not a competition.
I don't think he won.
Oh.
I think they compromised.
They compromised.
And since they had the pillow fort with the classic Married at First Sight pillow fort.
Right down in the middle.
Pillow boundary. They had the pillow boundary. But they look like they
really enjoyed themselves.
Could relax and everything.
Could relax. So. Then we go to the next couple. Cathy and Josh. Cathy and Josh, and you see a big smile on her face, and I'm going to go ahead and let you go with this Cathy and Josh. You had Cathy and Josh, where Josh is a young man who liked to party at one time. Who liked to party and realized that by his partying, he had lost a very good female, a very good relationship, because he didn't know how to stay home on weekends.
Yeah, and I don't know, that made me nervous. That made me nervous because we've seen those guys that are party guys, and so I feel like I want to settle down, and it's like, this is their Married at First Sight is their try at settling down and doing something different. That made me nervous. I'm like, I would have rather him try something before like something in between the party animal. Let me calm down, have a calm down period, and then go to this. I feel like he's coming right from that to this. He might not be, but that made me nervous.
And you know, you got that nervousness there with, you know, with Luke, with Josh, but you also have Cathy, who's coming into the nervous because she said she's been on some dates where the guys told her she was ugly, and he's in the car unfriending her or unliking her on Tinder, and already tried to set up his next date while she's in the car with him, and she couldn't get out soon enough to go home. She's been hurt a lot. Pretty young lady, but she feel like people don't think she's pretty enough, and they've told her that she's not pretty and that she's not attractive, and they don't like her, and so she. But then we looked at the experts saying she's still strong and confident. She even said she's strong and confident because she's keep moving, but we didn't see too much of that.
Yeah, that's one thing the experts said for why they matched them up. Because they need to bring that out of each other, and they said that, you know, Cathy was I don't know, she cried in there with the expert about how she didn't feel like she's enough, but she was like, I'm strong, I powered through it. But it showed later. You know, they both came down the aisle and they were very pleasantly surprised to see each other. They liked the looks of each other. And Cathy's bridesmaid said
she kind of got what she asked for, because she said she wanted somebody that was real Aussie.
But not only that, she dreamed about who she was gonna marry, and she said, I pictured a real Aussie, you know, lighter hair, light eyes, you know, little kind of olive tan complexion, and I later, outside of her bridesmaids, like closer, when the bridesmaids saw him and found out his name was Josh, they were like, I mean,
yeah, she said his name. She thought his name would be Josh.
She said she had a dream about that.
She had a dream about it, that his name would be Josh, and so it's coming down the aisle. She still had concern. Do he like me? Do he think he's pretty? She liked what she saw.
Yes.
He liked what he saw.
But they weren't sure that the other one liked what they saw.
Sure, the other person liked what they saw. So they gave their vows, and then they you know, did the kiss. They enjoyed and then we went to the reception with them. You know, the reception with him where they got the chance to interact with each other's families a little bit and mingle and talk, and you saw Josh's grandma and everybody happy that he was getting married, and he was the mingling type. He was going around talking, and she was still concerned, like, I really like him. I
hope he likes me back.
I hope he likes me. And he went to his friends like, you know, I really like her, and I hope she likes me back. And he did something that we don't really see that much on Married at First Sight. He actually went with her and had a conversation about them liking each other, and found out they were in the same boat. And I think that took their relationship right there, took them to another level, because they felt the same thing. He was willing to open up and communicate to her, where some people are not willing to communicate with their mate or their spouse about how they really feel. Yeah,
it was nice, and I like the fact that he said something first. And for a minute, I was like, come on, Cathy, don't leave him out there hanging. Tell him, I like you too. You know, he was like, no. And she was like, I mean, what do you think about me? And she was like, oh, I like you. And he was like, I like you too. I'm crushing on you. I'm crushing on you. They're crushing on each other.
They're crushing each other. And so they had conversation. It was a conversation. And they had a nice, long, passionate kiss. And, you know, several kisses and smooches, and we see them go to their hotel as well. And she comes out in her bunny robe,
which we saw already when she was with her bridesmaid. I was like, okay, she gonna get in the bed with the bunny robe on, with the hood up.
With the hood up, and, you know, he's in his boxers and his t-shirt, and then they sleep. Then they get up the next morning, they look at the ocean or look at, together. So it was their sweet couple. You know, and the expert really think that this couple right here could match and be one of the, as he used, power couples, or one of the potential good couples of this series. So, that's Cathy. And these two couples, the couples that we mentioned, Cathy and Josh and Luke and Poppy, actually got married. We actually saw them get married in the episode. But we also were introduced to two more couples. We were introduced to, as I mentioned earlier, the first lesbian couple, Amanda and Tish. Natasha. And Tasha. Yeah, Amanda, and both Amanda's 34, Tasha's 31. Amanda came out when she was 21 years old to her parents,
her traditional European parents.
who were not kind of happy or supportive, which we see a little bit later in the episode. We're not happy. And then you had Tasha, who's 31, pretty young looking lady, worked as a bartender in the bar. Many people tatted up, tattooed from head to toe, and many people believe that she, she's always getting approached by guys to be with them, and she has to let them down easy, let her know that she like women. And so
no, she said I let them have their fantasy.
Yeah, I let them
think what they think.
Yeah,
but more than that too, even outside the guys, she says she gets a lot of people thinking I'm just a party girl. I'm the fun time person, like not taking me seriously, like wanting a serious relationship. So that kind of bothers her. And
bother her relationship. And so Amanda has her biggest issue with her mom. And we see at the end of the episode, she talked to her mom, and she finally tells her mom, look, we're going to get married. That she's going to get married to a stranger. And we see mom, as the show goes off, crying and kind of upset with this. And even Amanda's upset too, because they don't know who it is, who it's going to be, what the other person going to look like. And we mentioned she's from a traditional European family where it's okay, from what we gather, is maybe wrong, it was okay for you to be homosexual, but it's not okay.
Well, they're getting used to it.
Yeah, getting used to it still, but it's not okay for you to marry.
Right.
And so that was one of big Amanda's fears. So we'll see here in the next couple of weeks. Next week, when the marriage finally goes through, when Tasha and Amanda get to see each other, how that shape out in their families as well. We saw a preview that Amanda's family had not arrived at the wedding yet, or had not been there, so they may not show up. So we'll see next week, and we'll review that as next week on Married at First Sight. The next couple, we saw Mickey and Natasha. Mikey and Natasha. And Mikey was 28 years old. Natasha was 26. And the biggest thing about Natasha is she liked older men. She said she was at the age of 21 and she dated somebody that was 42. And that she was also 25 and dated somebody that was 52. Mm-hmm. But because of her relationship with her dad, she liked older men. She's a financial analyst. Her dad has been a financial analyst. He had been around and been overseas for a while, so really wasn't there when she was growing up. And so she is at a point where she is a power player, but she still wants to be loved.
Yeah, she's an alpha female for sure.
A very alpha female for sure, but wants to be loved. And so the expert decided to match her up with Mikey. Mikey comes from a good family. He comes from a home where the family's close-knit. They own a nursing home.
An adult care facility. That's what they call it.
Adult care facility. So I have to speak my Aussie language. Adult care facility. And he's the manager of that, and he's been taking care. He grew up pretty privileged. Mm-hmm. He grew up having some money. He grew up also a loving, kind guy because he takes care of his aunt. He loves his aunt, who was born with some birth defects because the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck a little bit too long. But he said him and his aunt have a very good relationship. He eats dinner with her like 2 or 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet guy.
Seems like a really sweet guy.
Yeah, but he's looking for love, and he said he's always been awkward to talk to women. Hadn't had when he's around women, he's kind of awkward, and he gets, palms get wet and gets sweaty, and he doesn't know what to say. And this is a guy who comes from, as we mentioned, an affluent family, who has a little bit of money, and who all has been living the good life, and now they have been matched up with Natasha, who is a financial analyst, and they believe that these two also could be a power couple because of their background, and they can complement each other.
As long as she can get past the fact that they're closer in age.
Yeah, as long as she can get past the fact that they're closer in age. And
they're another one that made me nervous. I think that's gonna be a rub for her.
It may be, but once she sees him and see how he interacts with her and realize that he's not there for her money and he's gonna treat her, because the biggest thing with the older guys was they treated her like a
arm candy.
He's gonna treat her the way that he shows compassion for women. He may treat her better than arm candy. Mm-hmm. And so he may treat her as an equal, and they can continue to grow their empire or their business together, whichever way they want to go. So they also will get married on next week's episode. So I want to give a review of the Married at First Sight Australia. One thing we learned that this is not like the American version. This is a 10-week experiment.
Right.
Not 8. So 10 weeks of experiments, which is, to me, is pretty good, pretty interesting, because with the American version is 8 weeks. I want to see if the 10 weeks makes a big difference. Those 2 extra weeks make a difference in relationship. Let us know what you think if you're watching Married at First Sight Australia. If this is your first time watching Married at Sight Married at First Sight Australia. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. We're going to review this each and every week. We're going to review Couples Cam as well, doing both. I know you see us in the same clothes because we're doing the review in the same day. Just had to break it up for you guys. I didn't want to try to trick you with TV magic. But make sure you subscribe.
We could have. You would not have known.
Wouldn't have known. But nah, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure you check out our podcast. Link in the description. Also, make sure you leave a comment. And as my daughter would say, a big thumbs up.
Thank you. Bye.